Well, welcome back this week. I don't know how many of you have been watching the Republican Party convention. I don't usually watch those things. I've been to enough of them. Thank you very much. The thing that bothered me this week was the obvious, for those of you who were supporters of Ron Paul. Usually such machinations are done in the rooms off the floor of the convention to where the average delegate doesn't see what's really happening. This time they were far more blatant. But what was worse was the National Review online. It was a very, to put it mildly, disappointing article drumming Ron Paul out of the Republican Party. Let me just read you one short paragraph. Instead of honoring Paul on the way out, the delegates in Tampa should be cheering his departure. He has left a legacy of extremism and falsehoods that need to be driven from the party, not embraced by it. Then it goes on and reminds people that William F. Buckley and the writers at National Review had drummed out the John Birch Society from the Republican Party back in the early 60s. Well, the John Birch Society never was part of the Republican Party. Many of our members were involved in the Republican Party and are involved in the Republican Party. They are also involved in the Reform Party and in the Libertarian Party and a few even in the Democrat Party in some areas where there are pockets of conservatism that remain. But the idea that the John Birch Society is a political organization, we are not. Our members are. That's their own business, not ours. We never recommend anybody for office or support them or anything of that nature, even if they're members of the John Birch Society. But this was a very vicious article aimed at Ron Paul and also, as a reminder, the John Birch Society. It was written by Janice M. Fly and Evan Moore, who work for, in fact, she's the executive director of the Foreign Policy Initiative. Now, Ms. Fly just happens to be a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, the One World Order kind of organization that we've had trouble with ever since it was founded in 1920. She's sort of the fly in the ointment, if you don't mind me using that that quip. But at any rate, the initiatives has 4 members on the board. They are Robert Kagan, Dan Sr., Eric Edelman, and William Kristol. Now, William Kristol, you will recall, he's the icon of the neoconservatives. His father, Irving, actually started the neoconservative movement with other Trotskyites, the communists who broke off from Stalin, who ingratiated themselves and grafted themselves onto the Republican Party to promote their ideas instead of remaining in the Democrat Party. That is the root of the neocon movement. They don't like Ron Paul because he gave a very detailed speech on the floor of the House detailing this whole neoconservative movement and where it came from and the dangers that it presented. But at any rate, let's get back to the board of directors of the initiative. Robert Kagan is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Dan Sr. is not a member, but he is a senior fellow working at the Council on Foreign Relations. So 50% of this initiative board is CFR members. Now, what's very interesting is that Kagan and Senior are actually advisors to the Mitt Romney campaign. So what we see in reality, when you really look at this, is that this is a hit piece by Romney advisors attacking Ron Paul. And it is intimidative. It is a way of not only smearing, in a way, Ron Paul, it makes those individuals who are a little timid not want to stand up and be counted. That's what they did to the John Birch Society back in the 60s. It wasn't that people disagreed with the John Birch Society. They just didn't want to have all that attack on them as along with the Birchers. And so a lot of people joined in attacking the Birch Society just to show they were fair to their fellow moderate Republicans and rhinos. It was really a tragic thing, the way some people behaved instead of standing up. If American patriots had acted the same way in 1776, we wouldn't be sitting here today. We have to stand up with respect, honorably, with moderation, but we have to stand up and speak our mind.